Make sure you stick around to the end of this video so you can find out how you can win this dual channel wireless microphone that I'm going to be giving away to one of you lucky viewers. Stay tuned. When you're out creating something, just like I am right now, sometimes it helps to be able to actually see yourself. Now, a lot of cameras, yes, they have the flip out screens, but sometimes you might be a little bit too far away. So let's say I'm over here. Now I can barely see myself in that little monitor. So what really helps is when you have an on-camera monitor, and that's just what we're going to be checking out today. Inside this box, I got from Osee a T7 7-inch monitor. So let's get this out of the box and check it out. This is everything that comes in the box of the Osee T7. We get a quick start manual. We also get a little card that says hello with some other information on the other side. We get an Allen wrench with a little threading in here, as well as the on-camera cold shoe monitor mount. We have the monitor itself, the T7. Then we get an international power supply, so you can use this all over the world, as well as a D-tap cable. And this is everything that comes included in the box of the Osee T7. Just a quick note, they do not include the HDMI cable you will need to plug your camera into the T7. And they also do not include any NPF batteries that you will need to power the device in the field. Okay, let's take a better look at the T7. Now on the right here of the screen, we have a little joystick, and this is for selecting our menu options. On the bottom of it, we have a 1/4-inch thread. On the right side of it, we have a place for a remote and for headphone monitoring. On the top, we have another 1/4-inch mount. On the side, we have an SD card slot, and this is for loading LUTs whenever we want to load some LUTs on here. On the back of it, it looks like we have our power switch. We have an in and out for HDMI. This is not the SDI version. This is the T7. If you need SDI, then you need to go to the G7. Here's a place for our battery, and this is our power port. And that is everything on the T7. Okay, so before I even turn this on, let's just talk about the build quality for a second. So it's all plastic. The whole housing is plastic here, except for the threads on the bottom and the top, which are made of probably aluminum, I would assume. And everything else is plastic. So I gotta be very careful not to drop this thing. So I've gone ahead and I've installed an NPF battery. It does not come with one, you need your own. And you also need your own HDMI cables. It does not include any of those either. When you first turn on the screen, oh, by the way, this has a power switch, not a button to turn it on. And I actually prefer that because I've had some issues with my previous monitor, which was a Atomos Ninja V Plus. Sometimes you forget that it's just a light touch to turn on that monitor, and this is just a switch. When you press it, you switch it to on. This is the first thing that you see, and there's nothing on the screen here, right? I don't have it plugged into the camera right now, just so you can see this. So it's not a touch screen, but you do have this little joystick for doing things. So I'm going to press the joystick, and you can see now I can actually populate the menu with what I want on this. Now, I need to talk about one thing here. I'm out in daylight, and you can see from a distance just how bright this monitor actually is. This is a really bright looking monitor. This is a 3000 nit monitor to be exact, and I can see the difference. It's really, really bright. It's a very cool way of being able to populate the menu with all these different things in there, like waveforms, vectors, scopes, zebras, and all that. But let's get this plugged into the camera, and then we can really take a good look. But I just thought it was actually really nice to see how very, very clear this screen actually is and how visible it is when you're outside. 3000 nits makes a big difference when you're outside in daylight. This thing is awesome. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and mounted the Osee T7 to one of my cameras. And as you can see pretty clearly, this monitor can be seen very, very nicely in direct sunlight. It's mind-blowing how bright this actually is. There are 10 levels of brightness, and right now I did bring it up to level 10 just because I wanted to show you how bright it actually was. Now, this model does not have a touch screen. We have this joystick right here. And if you want a version of this monitor with SDI and a touch screen, then you would have to buy the G7 Pro, which is a new model that Osee just came out. But it may not be necessary for most people because I just wanted to use this as an on-camera monitor, and I think it's really great for what it is. Now, you can control everything with this little knob. So if I just press this here, you see how we have these things on the left side? So I've already gone ahead and populated some of this. It comes with none of these things here. You can just add them all yourself. So I put on a waveform, an audio meter, can change the aspect, crosshatches, safe markers, and focused assist. And when you come down here, you can just add new tools, and you can see them all here in this menu pretty clearly. There are up to 8 pages that you can select here, and literally all I have to do is press on this, and now you can see I have an audio meter, and if I want the waveform, I've got the waveform, and I can move this around the screen anywhere. Same thing with here, if I want to change the aspect. Now, I set it up to give me a 9:16, so if I wanted to do something for social media, you know, for TikTok or Instagram, that gives me the alignment so I know where to do that. Same thing with the crosshatch, but that can get a little bit crazy once you start adding things, and that's highly customizable. You can change, it's just too much. Safe, that gives me my action safe, and I can also set it up for title safe. So you can get all of these markers on the screen if you want them. And it's just easy enough to turn them on and turn them off just by pressing the button. And if I wanted to turn on the focused assist, now things are going to get a little weird because that allows me to focus much clearer. So if I knock this out of focus here, you can see how the focused assist can really, really greatly help. And then you can just knock it back off again and, you know, it's gone. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, so all I have to do here is just press on this, add new tool. So let's just say I wanted false color, for example. I can just come over here, enable it, and there's my false color, and I can change the different spectrums. Like, you know, like this is for S-Log3, this is for S-Log2, RE, Canon, etc. Panasonic V-Log, red, and on and on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to turn that back off. Now, if I press to the left and I hold it, that gets me into the setup menu. So this is setting our volume if you have headphones plugged in, and the backlight, which is what I was just mentioning earlier. If I go into the backlight, I can change this to make it darker if it's too bright. So it came out of the box at 5, and as you can see, you know, 0 is pretty much with the backlight off. And as I go through each of these steps, it just gets brighter and brighter. And then there's an ambient temperature for the fan speed. So if it was a hot day, I guess you could bring it up even more. Same thing, you can have it auto rotate. So if you flip the screen, it rotates automatically by itself. And if I wanted to turn anamorphic settings on or off, it even has settings for older cameras like DSLRs, like a Canon 5D Mark II or 3. And I can turn the status display on or off. And what that does is that just allows me to see the battery level and my input. So I can see my HDMI input and where I'm shooting right now and what the camera is set to. Then there's also the calibration LUT. So you can calibrate this monitor any way you want, really. You can add more gamma, more brightness, more saturation, and such. I can also change the language if I need to. And this is the monitor information, and there's a firmware update in here as well. Some of the options like input here are grayed out, and that's simply because we don't have any option other than the HDMI. If this was the G7, then I would have the option of HDMI or SDI. But since we don't have that on this monitor, it's just grayed out. Now, if I come all the way down to the bottom of this menu here, then I can put in my SD card and load a LUT file. And if I really needed to, factory reset. So I don't have a LUT right here and I don't have an SD card loaded, but that's where you would go if you wanted to do that. If you press to the right, it says add new my set. And if I wanted to do that, that now adds a page 2. So I can populate this page 2 with all sorts of different tools if I needed them. So let's say I'll put a vector scope here. I can put a zebra, maybe a histogram. And all I got to do to turn this on is just press the button. And you can see it just automatically comes on. And if I go to the right, then I can change the settings, such as, where the location of these items as well. Another thing I should mention that is if you push up on the joystick, you enter into a magnification menu, and we got 2 times and we have 4 times. And this is really helpful when you're trying to focus on something. Now, if I press the button, I also can move this around all over the screen. Press it again, I'm out of that. Press down to go to 2 times, press down again, and I'm back to normal. Another tool I wanted to talk about was the look tool, and that allows you to change the color space that you can see within the monitor, and also where you can choose the LUTs if you have any loaded in there. So I'm going to come down here to add new tool, scroll all the way down to the bottom here where it says look, and click on that, and then enable that, and you can see where it says camera. So if I wanted to change the settings in the camera, we've got all sorts of different settings here, from HLG to RE and Blackmagic and Canon colors, Fuji colors, DJI colors, red colors. There's even JVC colors, Sony. So for example, like an S-Log3, Cine, etc., etc., etc. If I come out of this and I switch it to user, now I can choose between different user LUTs that I would have had loaded from the SD card. I don't have any loaded right now, but that's exactly where you would want to do it if you did. Now let's say you want to delete something from your custom tool menu here. So all I have to do is press on the joystick here, and let's just say I want to add a new tool. So I'm going to put in, let's say center. Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed my mind. I don't want that. So all I have to do is scroll down into it and hit the trash can right here, confirm, and now it's gone. Very, very simple for menu management. And with the ability to add 8 different pages of customizable tools that you can change however you want for whatever situation you might need, all it does is make this monitor that much more usable for any situation you might come across. If I had to pick one thing to criticize about the Osee T7, it actually has nothing to do with the monitor. I think this monitor is fantastic. I just love that I can see it out here in the daylight. It's going to change the way I shoot from now on. But when you open the box, all you see is the monitor with a cold shoe monitor mount and power supply. Okay, when I ordered my Ninja V Plus, I got this big case for storage, and this holds all my accessories. So maybe when you're out ordering your HDMI cable and your NPF batteries, if you don't already have those, you're probably going to want to order some sort of case for it as well. Maybe, hopefully in the future, they'll include a case with their on-camera monitors. So once again, this is the Osee T7 on-camera monitor, and I have to admit, this thing is absolutely amazing. It's amazing how they built all of the different functionality into just this little joystick right here that controls pretty much everything on this monitor. Now, before I said that this was plastic, all plastic housing, but it does have sheet metal inside, so it is actually really sturdy as well. What did you guys think of this monitor? I mean, I'm amazed and blown away that you could actually see this thing in direct sunlight, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to having a to put a little sunshade over my monitor just so I can see it when I'm outdoors. And with this one, you can, but I don't really think it's really even that necessary. It's just that bright. If you think you might be interested in buying one of these Osee T7s for yourself, or maybe a G7 or a G7 Pro or anything else that Osee makes, I've left some affiliate links in the description below. Make sure you click on those. If you enjoyed this review and overview of the Osee T7, then please make sure you give me a thumbs up, and also make sure you're subscribed, because you're going to have to be if you want to win this wireless microphone set that I announced at the beginning of this very video. What I've done is I've left in the description box below a link to a raffle website where you can click on it and enter your information, and in a couple of weeks I will announce the winner. I'll pick a winner, and I'll announce it in another upcoming video. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. I hope everybody's doing well out there, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.